Let's talk about stamps today. So there's a couple different types of stamps that card makers use when creating cards. We have a photopolymer type stamp, which is completely clear. And then we also have a rubber stamp. So these are the two different types of stamps. Okay, so what is a stamp anyway? Well, a stamp is how we get those beautiful images onto our card. That's right. So these are the beautiful images that you see stamped on the paper with our Stampin' Up! Ink that, that we add to our cards. That's what a stamp is. And so today I'm going to show you how to mount your stamps and how to clean your stamps. And of course, we're going to talk about the difference between the two. So if you find this video helpful, please be sure to like and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell. That way you're notified of my next video. This is video number 2. That's right, of my 12 video series for beginners. I'm so excited to be offering this to you. I've been teaching Stampin' Up! And card making, crafting for a very long time. And so I'm excited to show you a few tips and tricks that I have learned along the way. Now, don't forget to go to brandyscards.com/beginners as well and subscribe there too, because you'll be emailed as well when there's a new video that is published. And also, you might just be invited to a private Q&A session after all 12 videos have been shared. So be sure to go to brandyscards.com/beginners and subscribe. All right, so I'm excited. Let's talk about stamps today. So first off, we're going to get started with some photopolymer stamps. So here is a fun photopolymer stamp. And, I think this one is super cute. This is called a pierce mat. That's right. So this is a pierce mat. It's like a little foam mat, and it gives you a little bit of squishy. And so this is a photopolymer stamp set case. When you open it up, you're going to see the images on the inside. And then you've got your stamps that are stuck to kind of like a plastic sheet, if you will. And they line up perfectly on top of the case. Now, some people like to, after you use your stamp and clean it, some people like to stick it to the case. I just leave mine on the card, and I just kind of put it back on the card. So it's up to you how you would like to do that. Now, what you're going to need to mount a photopolymer stamp, you're going to need a block. That's right. So this is an acrylic block. I love that it has the grooves. So if you have a hard time gripping, those grooves are quite nice. And Stampin' Up! Has 9 different blocks, and you will always find a block of those 9 to fit your stamps. That's right. So each stamp, they're different sizes. So we have some large ones and some small ones, some rectangle. They're all different sizes. And but here's a flower out of my photopolymer stamp set. And to mount that, look at this, super easy, easy peasy. Now, what you need to know is that you don't leave it mounted this way. You stamp it, you clean it, and then you take it right back off and you put it away. That's right. So just so you know that you don't need a whole bunch of blocks, right? Because that'd be kind of crazy. All right. So I'm going to bring in some white paper. I also have some pink Stampin' Up! Ink here. And what I'm going to do is I am going to ink my stamp up. So I'm just going to ink it up and tap, 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 tap. Make sure I get some full coverage on that stamp. And you might move it around depending on your stamp pad. And we're going to stamp it straight down, straight up. Now let's do it again. Let's ink it up, stamp, stamp, stamp. And then we are going to stamp it again. There you go. So it's a beautiful image, and the beauty of photopolymer stamps is that you can see through them. Well, and you can see exactly where you're going to stamp it. So in a sense, you could layer stamps because you can see exactly where you're stamping. Such as this. Let me show you this. Ink, ink, ink it up, stamp, stamp. There we go. And now I'm going to offset, because I can see through my photopolymer, I'm going to offset the stamp and stamp it again. And so now I've got another fun flower. So that is the beauty of photopolymer. I love that I can see through those and layer those up beautifully. Now, let's talk about cleaning that stamp. There's a couple different ways that you can clean your photopolymer stamp. I have here a Simply Chamois. Just squish, 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 clean it off, and you are good to go. Another way that you could clean it is you could use a Stampin' Scrub. This is called a Stampin' Scrub. It opens up, and in the corner is a sun, and then there's a wet. So let's see, let's do it that way. Wet, and then you've got the little sun. So what you would do is, here is some Stampin' Mist. This is how we clean our stamps. You could spritz it on top of the photopolymer stamp, wet side, dry side, and it's clean. Now you're probably thinking, well, if it's clean, why does it look pink? Well, sometimes the red dyes and things can sort of dye the stamp, or, give it a hint of pink, if you will. It's totally okay. The stamp still works perfectly fine, so I don't want you to worry about that. There are some things that you can do to avoid that if you don't want a stained stamp. You could stamp it in another type of Versamark type ink and then stamp it, but we'll talk about that in another video. All right, so let's talk about our next type of stamp. Let's talk about our cling mount stamp. So cling mount stamps are rubber. Yeah, you can see that. And why they're called cling is because they are sticky. Look at that. So they stick really, really good to your stamp. So we used to have a stamp called a clear mount, which stuck with, static. Well, now we have what's called cling, and we have these fantastic sticky stickers. And so when you stick it on a block, that thing is not going anywhere. It is stuck. So that is the beauty of that rubber stamp with the cling mount. Now you can also see the image because of the sticker. Now here, let me show you this. This is how it comes. Oh my goodness, you're thinking, well, how in the world did you get that sticker on there? Well, let me show you. So here are the stickers. It does come with the stamp set, and I'm just going to really quickly give you kind of how I like, an idea of how I like to mount my stamps. So I'm going to take this one right back off, and you want to save this outer edge. Save that outer edge, and then you can kind of stick your stamp right back in here when you put it back in the case. But let's mount this really big image so that you can see exactly how it's done, okay? So here's the stickers. You'll notice that there is an area here that you can kind of peel, right? And so in a sense, you can do this one of two ways. You can take this piece off, right? This is kind of a contact paper. You can take that off. You can pull these stickers off, or these contact pieces is what I should say. And then you can layer it, set it right on there and line it up perfectly. And so then the sticker would transfer onto here. However, I find that very, sort of cumbersome, a bit difficult. So here's what I recommend. Go ahead and pull that sticker right off. This side is what sticks to the block. So let's go ahead and stick it to our block. So if we stick it to our block, it would normally stick to the block, right? So here, let's go ahead and pull that up. Oop, I don't have any fingernails, and I should have gotten that started. Here, let me get some scissors. Oh my. But what you're going to do is you're going to stick that on the block, and then you're going to pull the little contact papers off. There we go. And so we're going to pull that off, and then what you're going to do is you take the contact paper off, right? And we're going to stick the stamp upside down, flip the block over, and now you can see that I can line up my stamp with the sticker. So it's like, hold your breath, right? And set it down, because once you set it down, it is stuck and it is not coming off. So there it is. So there I can pull my sticky stamp on and off my block, and it's mounted beautifully. That's right. So that's how you mount your stamp. That's how I find the easiest way to mount it. We're using my stickers. And again, I would definitely keep the rubber backing or the frame here, because once I'm done, I can stick it right back inside of its little frame. So that's how you do that. Now let's go ahead and stamp this beautiful image. So let me just show you that really quickly. I have my piece of paper back here. When using a rubber mounted stamp, you do not have to, when using a rubber mounted stamp, you don't have to have a pierce mat. So let's go ahead and ink this up. You can ink it up that way, or you could ink it up this way, however it's easiest for you. This is garden green, is what this color is. And I'm just going to stamp it straight down and straight up. And you can see that it's another beautiful, beautiful image. Okay, so let's talk about cleaning that stamp. Same type of thing with your photopolymer stamp. You can use your chamois and squish, 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 right? And then you got it all clean. So that is one way to do it. Or again, you could use your Stampin' Scrub. And you know, the Stampin' Scrub opens back up and you would spritz your stamp, and then you have the wet side and you have the dry side. Now, here is a tip that you're going to want to know. Do not leave these Cling Bond stamps on your blocks overnight. The reason is these stickies, they get super sticky and it gets kind of hard to come off of that block. So make sure that when you're done using your stamps, you pull that right back off. Whoops. And then you're going to add that inside of the frame. Just like that. So that is how you use your photopolymer as well as your Cling Mount stamps. And look at those two beautiful images. No one would ever know that they were done with two different types of stamps, would they? So I hope that you found that demonstration helpful. There's two types of stamps and you'll see it notated in the catalog. That's right. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, please let me know. Love the opportunity to send you some catalogs, answer any questions that you have, and hopes to earn your business. And if you are one of my customers, I hope that you're enjoying this video series. And I thank you for being a loyal customer of Brandy's Cards. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my video and leave me a comment or two. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you're notified of my next video that will be coming soon. And make sure you go to Brandy's Cards. That's right, Brandy's Cards /beginners, and subscribe there as well so you'll receive that email. And you'll also be notified about our private Q&A that you will be invited to after our 12 video series is over. Okay? So thank you for joining me today. I hope that you pull out your stamps, whether it be Cling Mount or photopolymer, and you get stamping. We'll see you again soon. Bye.